What if we told you that the real treasure of the Cariboo's gold rush era wasn't gold? Intrigued? Let's dive in. When we think of the gold rush, images of rugged prospectors panning for glinting particles in icy streams often come to mind. The mid-19th century in Cariboo, British Columbia, was indeed a time of feverish activity. Thousands flocked to the region, lured by tales of nuggets as large as walnuts waiting to be plucked from the earth. Yet what if we told you the real treasure of the Cariboo gold rush wasn't in the gleaming gold? It sounds perplexing, doesn't it? But let's dig a little deeper. Sure, gold was the initial draw, but the true wealth of this era wasn't found in the precious metal. Instead, it was in the opportunities and resources that sprung from this frenzied quest for riches. The gold rush was more than a mere mining boom. It was a catalyst for development and expansion. Consider the new settlements that arose almost overnight. Towns like Barkerville and Richfield sprouted up to cater to the needs of the miners. These settlements were more than mere waypoints. They became thriving communities, complete with schools, churches, and even theaters. But the gold rush didn't just birth new towns. It also brought about a boom in trade and industry. Businesses mushroomed to meet the demands of the bustling populace. From saloons and general stores to blacksmiths and boarding houses, these enterprises formed the backbone of the region's burgeoning economy. And let's not forget the cultural exchanges that took place. The gold rush drew people from all corners of the globe, creating a melting pot of cultures. This diversity enriched the region, introducing new ideas, traditions, and cuisines. So in a way, the gold rush was a golden opportunity for growth and development. The true riches lay not in the elusive gold, but in the lasting legacy it left behind. So the real gold of Cariboo's gold rush era wasn't the shiny nuggets, but the lasting legacy it left behind. Prospectors of the Cariboo's gold rush, fortune hunters or foolish gamblers? The answer might surprise you. In the mid-19th century, the Cariboo region in British Columbia was swept up in a frenzy of gold fever. Thousands of individuals, lured by the promise of easy wealth, descended upon the region with dreams of striking it rich. But were these so-called fortune hunters truly seeking fortune? Or were they simply drawn by the thrill of the gamble?
Let's delve into the motivations of these prospectors. Many no doubt were drawn by the allure of gold, the promise of wealth that could transform their lives overnight. They envisioned a future filled with prosperity, where the struggles of their past would be left behind. They were willing to risk everything to venture into the unknown with the hope of striking it rich. Yet beneath this veneer of fortune hunting, there was another force at play. The thrill of the gamble, the intoxicating rush of risk and reward. For some, the pursuit of gold was less about the wealth it promised and more about the adventure it offered. These were the true gamblers of the Cariboo gold rush, individuals who were as much drawn to the uncertainty and danger of the prospecting life as they were to the potential riches. But let's not romanticize the era. The reality was often harsh. Many prospectors faced grueling conditions with punishing work and meager returns. They battled disease, starvation, and the unforgiving elements, with many paying the ultimate price in their quest for gold. Yet despite the hardships, the allure of gold was too strong. The dream of striking it rich, of transforming their lives overnight, was too enticing to resist. And so they pressed on, undeterred by the risks and hardships, driven by a combination of hope, desperation, and the thrill of the gamble. The pursuit of gold was indeed a high-stake gamble, the outcome of which shaped the very future of the Cariboo region. The gold rush era had its heroes, but not all of them held a gold pan. Ready to meet Cariboo's unsung heroes? In the heart of the gold rush, amidst the flurry of fortune seekers, there were individuals whose stories, though not gilded with gold, were nonetheless golden in their impact. One such individual was Dr. Henry McNeil, a man of medicine and kindness. He arrived in Cariboo in the late 1850s, not with a gold pan, but a doctor's bag. His healing hands and compassionate heart made him a beacon of hope for the prospectors, their families, and the local indigenous communities. His legacy lives on in Cariboo's healthcare system today, but the goldfields weren't just a man's world. The unsung heroines of Cariboo played a pivotal role in shaping the community. Take, for instance, Mary Wright, a teacher who journeyed west in the early 1860s.
She opened the first school in the region, teaching not just the 3 Rs, but nurturing a sense of community among the diverse settlers. Her efforts laid the foundation for Cariboo's education system, which thrives to this day. And then there were the entrepreneurs like Lottie Boren, a savvy businesswoman who saw beyond the glint of gold. She recognized the prospectors' need for supplies and opened a general store. Lottie's store provided not just goods, but a gathering place for the community, a hub of camaraderie and connections. Her entrepreneurial spirit is echoed in the vibrant businesses that dot Cariboo today. In their own unique ways, these unsung heroes helped shape Cariboo during the gold rush and beyond. They might not have been panning for gold, but they were mining a different kind of wealth, a wealth of community, compassion, and connection. Their contributions were immeasurable, their impacts irreplaceable. These unsung heroes might not have struck gold, but they certainly struck a chord in the heart of Cariboo. The gold rush wasn't just a clash of pickaxes, but also a clash of cultures. Let's explore Cariboo's cultural melting pot. In the mid-19th century, the Cariboo region of British Columbia was set ablaze with gold rush fever. But it wasn't just gold that was unearthed. As the area swelled with a surge of fortune seekers, so too did it bubble with a rich stew of diverse cultures. Prospectors poured in from all corners of the globe, each bringing with them a slice of their homeland. From the Chinese miners who introduced their traditional food and festivities, to the European settlers who built their churches and schools, the gold rush was a cultural explosion as much as it was a quest for riches. But as these different cultures coalesced, so too did the challenges. Language barriers, cultural misunderstandings, and prejudice often led to tension and conflict. The indigenous peoples, the original stewards of the land, saw their way of life severely disrupted. Yet amidst this turmoil, there were also stories of cooperation and mutual respect. The gold rush was a time of intense competition, but it was also a time of unprecedented cultural exchange. The Chinese miners, for example, taught their European counterparts advanced mining techniques. The indigenous peoples shared their knowledge of the land, aiding in the survival of many newcomers. In this cultural melting pot, the very concept of identity was transformed. Cultural lines blurred as people intermarried and new generations were born, their heritage a patchwork of the world's cultures. The languages, foods, traditions, and beliefs of these diverse groups seeped into one another, creating a unique Cariboo culture that still resonates today. Yet it's crucial to remember that this cultural fusion was not without its struggles. The gold rush was a time of great upheaval, bringing both progress and pain, but it also brought people together, fostering understanding and leaving a lasting legacy. The gold rush was a remix of cultures, each adding its own unique flavor to the vibrant melting pot of Cariboo. The gold rush brought riches, but did it also leave scars? Let's examine the cost of Cariboo's golden era. The allure of gold might have painted a picture of prosperity, but it's vital to consider the other side of the coin. The environmental and social impacts of the gold rush were profound and in many ways left the region forever altered. First, let's talk about the environment. The gold rush was a time of rapid and aggressive industrialization. Mining operations, often unchecked, scarred the landscape. Forests were razed, rivers rerouted, and mountainsides torn apart in the relentless quest for gold. Today, Cariboo bears the marks of these activities, with abandoned mines and tailing piles serving as stark reminders of the past. The economy, too, was not left untouched. The gold rush brought a boom, no doubt, but it also brought an inevitable bust. When the gold ran out, so did the jobs, leaving many in financial ruin. The boom and bust cycle, a classic hallmark of resource-dependent economies, left its imprint on Cariboo. The region had to reinvent itself, shifting from gold mining to other industries, a transition that was not without its struggles. Lastly, let's ponder the societal impact. The gold rush was a melting pot of cultures, with people from all over the world converging on Cariboo. But this cultural diversity led to clashes and conflicts. Indigenous communities in particular bore the brunt as their lands were taken over and their rights overlooked. The social fabric of Cariboo was irreversibly changed, and the effects of these changes are still felt today. The gold rush, a time of great wealth and equally great costs. A golden era that forever changed the face of Cariboo. The gold may have long since run out, but the echoes of this era still resonate, serving as a poignant reminder of the true cost of riches.